in the case of cardiac arrest, it's like the NEPA themselves sees the light. So there's nothing the meter, sorry, the meter in the house, there's nothing can, even the transformer, there's nothing can do, because there's complete loss of supply of electrical activity. So that heart attack is what we call MI. The same myocardial infection. Infarction. That's so it's myocardial. Yes, that is myocardial. I thank God I've made you understood what myocardium means. Right? Myo is the muscles of the heart. Yes. And then in some extreme cases, we will see kidney failure, which is more scary to a lot of people. The kidney failure can also be a manifestation of the heart at the first instance. Getting challenged. In fact, heart problems are one of the commonest causes. I can even say up to more than 40% of kidney failure diseases. People can be brain dead.
Yes,
I hope we've all heard that word. Somebody has been brain dead for years, but the heart is still alive. Of course, the heart is a bulk of flesh. That flesh in medicine, we call it muscle. Right? And the medical word for muscle, the Latin word is myo. So when you hear we say myometrium means the muscles of the womb. When we say myocardium, we are talking of the muscles of the heart. Right? So, and then it has cardiac muscle. It's a special muscle, the only type in the body. The cardiac muscles are unique. And then we also have, then apart from the cardiac muscle, it has its control center.
Tell us how you got here. Tell us how you rose.
We're playing football somewhere in Wusetu, and some of us, we are over 40. We have people that were in their 30s. We have people in their 20s, and just a couple of them in their 10s, like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, thereabout. And there was this 17-year-old boy that went past a 26-year-old. The 26-year-old chased him. He continued on. At some point, the 26-year-old slumped. Now, when he slumped, those of us that are over 40, we are concerned. We've seen a lot about life and heart and everything, but other guys there were just, hey, get up, what's wrong with you? 5 seconds, we all gathered, and the good thing is we resuscitated him. It's okay. But it got me thinking, like, it's very possible for people to have heart issues, and I think it's not well talked about. And today we are going to be discussing how you can take care of your heart. I want you to pay attention. It will be one of the best investments you will make concerning your health, because if your heart have a problem, the whole body, of course, you know what will happen. So watch this video to the end. If you have anyone you care about and you hold them dearly in your heart, I want you to also share it with them, because today we are going to be discussing how you can best take care of your heart. Here with me is my wonderful friend, and he's a doctor. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's good to have you.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes. We tried a lot to get you, and we're just happy you, out of your busy schedule, you're able to make time for this podcast. Yes. I think people would like to know you. Maybe introduce yourself. Don't say much about your education. There are quite a lot.
Yes, I'm Dr. Samuel Munza. I'm a medical doctor. I work with the National Assembly at the moment. I've also worked with ATBU Teaching Hospital in Bauchi. I've worked on contract basis with USAID, you said. I've worked with the National Hospital at a point.
Let's just stop here. Let's just
stop here. It is well.
Let's stop here.
Yes, sir.
Let's stop here. You see, doctor, there's something about the heart,
yes,
that fascinates me.
Yes.
But I understand I'm a civilian.
Yes.
You guys are
we are also civilians.
So, but in your years of maybe managing humans.
Yes.
So is there anything about the heart that still fascinates you till this day?
Yes, thank you. Right from even beginning of my study as a medical student, the heart, in fact, and everything about life, which I want people to know a lot, the heart is the beginning of life. Yes. Why am I saying this? When a woman conceives,
Okay.
the first organ that anybody will pick if you scan is the heart.
Oh, that's why I
Yes.
see that.
Yes. So
Okay.
the heartbeat, even if you don't know anything, let's say I'm not a radiographer, you are not a radiographer, and you pick your probe, and a woman comes, you are suspecting she's pregnant, you want to scan, you on the screen and you put your probe, you will see the heartbeat.
Wow.
And at that point in time, you will not even see the brain, you will not see legs, you will not see hand. And that is as early as what, 3 weeks of life. Once fertilization has happened, a conception has taken place, within 3 weeks, that's the first organ that develops. So even if you cannot pick anything, if you see heartbeat, you know that there is a human being already alive there. So as early as, that's why I said anything that happens, once you see that, you know that there's a life existing. So you can see the value of pregnancy as early as 3 weeks.
Wow.
You must know, you will not want to tamper with life for any reason at that point in time. So that's what fascinates me about heart. And it is the first organ that starts working and doesn't stop until the day you leave this world. And then thirdly, it is the organ of the body that does not depend on the brain. The heart is, that's why you see people can be brain dead.
Yes.
I hope we've all heard that word. Somebody has been brain dead for years, but the heart is still alive. So that is what fascinates, about the heart. That's it.
Okay, now speaking of, because today we are going to be looking at heart attacks, and we've seen it, and many of us have seen, a loved one. They say, I saw him yesterday, I saw him today. So the question here is, do we see it coming? Does it give signs? This heart attack thing, does it give signs?
Yes.
Or maybe 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, hours, seconds, minutes. Just, does it give signs?
Yes, that's a very interesting question.
Okay.
When you say signs from the heart, it depends on the kind of,
or the body.
Yes, sign of the heart problem. It depends on the kind of particular problem.
Okay.
Just as I've told you that the heart, of course, the heart is a bulk of flesh. That flesh in medicine, we call it muscle.
Okay.
Right? And the medical word for muscle, the Latin word is myo. So when you hear we say myometrium means the muscles of the womb. When we say myocardium, we are talking of the muscles of the heart.
Cardiac,
right?
Okay.
So, and then it has cardiac muscle. It's a special muscle, the only type in the body. The cardiac muscles are unique. And then we also have, apart from the cardiac muscle, it has its control center. That is the electrical parts. That is what we call pacemakers.
Okay.
The pacemakers, we have the SA node, the AV node, Purkinje fibers, and the rest. Medical grammar, they are specialized tissues that help to make sure that sorry for that. But when we have, so those ones are like the electrical components.
Okay.
And then, it's like you have a building.
Yeah.
The building is made up of bricks.
Okay.
Right? The bricks are there, they have constructed the building, but the building is dark inside.
Yeah.
So you now fix your electricity there. Then the meter and the switches are the electrical component of that. Then so that means thank you for this good example. From the meter and the switches, they now supply light. When the meter is for you, sometimes you can off the meter so that NEPA will not bring light. Isn't it? But when you now on the meter, you've activated power to reach the switches. And then when you now on the switches, the lights comes up, and then the building is lighting. So it depends on the pathology, pathology means depend on the kind of sickness that is happening. Generally, even though all of them are interrelated, because first of all, there could be sickness that will first start affecting the heart muscle itself, and then the heart too is an organ. It needs nutrition. So there are blood vessels that supplies the heart. Those blood vessels, we call them the coronary vessels, right? And then we also have, so apart from the muscles, the vessels, we also have those electrical parts, the pacemakers, so they can all be affected. And then, as part of the muscles, they also have some things we call valve, because the function of the heart is to send blood, first of all, to the lungs, collect oxygen from there, returns it back to the heart, then it will now pump this blood back in another channel. So they have to be valves so that the the blood that doesn't have oxygen will not mix with the one that has oxygen, so that it will send it back to circulation. This oxygen is what provides the fuel for every activity, metabolic activities that goes on in the body. Body activities are generally called metabolic activities. So that metabolism will not take place without enough oxygen in the proper way. You know, so that is so depending on the pathology. So as we are looking at that now, you know, there are situations that can happen as early as normally no heart event will just happen just in isolation.
Okay, no one is a surprise.
Yes, there must have been a reason. Number one, if you look at the ones that affect the muscles, there would have been maybe there was a cut, there was a blockage of blood supply to that part of the muscles, the heart body, the tissue itself, you know, or there can be problems that affected the valves. Some of them can even be right from birth, congenitally, right? And then they can the heart will, and you know, generally how God creates the body will continue to try to overcome any deficiency. So, and especially those organs that are single in the body, you know, there are organs that tend to work from beginning till the end of your life. You know, they always tend to want to compensate. So you can see sometimes you will see the compensated liver disease, the compensated cardiac disease. So the heart want to take care of those deficiencies until when it cannot take care of it, then you start seeing most of the symptoms manifest. However, there are some subtle symptoms, which is the key thing I know you want us to hear. You know, you are walking and then like somebody, for example, you mentioned that nice example of that football case. He's playing football and then maybe there is a blood clot or something moving in his blood and went to block a blood supply that is affecting the heart. When the blockage happens, already some blood have already moved ahead. Those ones will be utilized first. So depending on the speed at which this blood is being circulated, of course, if you are doing exercise, the speed is faster. Right? So the heart may not even have chance to accommodate. You know, so the speed of this blood, it will be consumed. So now, and you know, the lack of blood now going there will mean that should start dying because it's not getting food supply. So you can see, a lot of times you start having from as less as 10 minutes, and then it can go for hours and years, you know, because there are people that have what we call heart failure as a heart pathology, and that one that I'm just mentioning is what we call heart attack. You know, that and the heart suddenly experience a shock, you know, a blockage in one place, and then how will the person feel? The person will suddenly feel, you know, cold, alarmed, because there is our body sympathetic system will, you know, our body's response system to stress. We call them the sympathetic. You know, they will be activated, so the person will feel cold, clammy. He will feel doom. You know, and then the person can experience all sort of sometimes it may just be that slight pain. If it is somebody that is a bit sedentary, not in the physical spot at that time, you know, the blockage has happened, the person will be feeling the pains radiating to his or her shoulder and the back and then the chest area, you know, because it is a localized tissue. So there are some nerves, because the vagus nerve, they send these signals to the brain, and those are the early signs. But you know, normally when we touch our chest, we think of ulcer. So a lot of times, common symptoms that mimic ulcers are what we now assume. What we assume is ulcer. They can also be mimicking heart issue, but those are part of heart issue. And then it can go as far as people that experience swollen legs. Yes, people that they get easily tired when they do a little activity. It can go to as other symptoms as people who you know, experience a lot of cough when they try to sleep. You know, so all those things, they are, you know, shortness of breath. You know, they are all symptoms that can be associated with heart disease. And that is why once you see any of those symptoms, we always, of course, any unusual symptom, trying to see your doctors. In fact, some may even have swollen abdomen. Yes, and then in some extreme cases, you know, we will see kidney failure, which is more scary to a lot of people. The kidney failure can also be a manifestation of the heart at the first instance getting challenged. You know, in fact, heart problems are one of the commonest causes. I can even say up to more than 40% of kidney failure diseases, kidney failures, you know, can be associated with heart. Yes, and then I want us to understand one thing. When I use failure in our medical language, what it means is that organ cannot do its job adequately
Okay.
to the barest minimum.
Okay.
You know, it's not that when I say it has failed, that means it has stopped working. No. We have kidney failure, that means the kidney is not producing enough urine. Okay. The minimum is expected to produce based on what you take in. Okay. And then the heart too, when it cannot pump enough blood to go to circulation. And remember that every single part of our body needs blood.
Yes.
Yeah, even our nails, where they see like this, our nails here, they need blood to bring food that nourishes the nails to grow. Even our hair, you know. So that is to tell you that if the heart is faulty, virtually every part of your body will manifest some elements of heart problems.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. You said something about ulcer.
Yes.
And the symptoms of ulcer being very similar to that of.
Yes.
Yeah. So how can we differentiate them? Because I want somebody to be able to because you've explained, you've done a good job explaining them.
Yes.
But what's the difference between the symptoms of heart problem and that of ulcer?
Brilliantly. Oftentimes, well, we can relate them to events that are preceding what happens. Of course, the symptoms of ulcer is mainly in the epigastrium, that is the immediate upper part of the abdomen, or immediately below this our rib cage.
I think I prefer the upper part of the
abdomen
to epigastrium.
Yes. The upper part of the abdomen. Yes, I understand. So you know this our rib cage. You know it meets in the middle, right?
Yes.
So that just immediately below it. You know that place where it meets, it forms like an inverted V. Yes. So that is where the stomach actually kind of starts. You know, at that point. So the point, and you know, ulcer is a pain coming from the stomach.
Yes.
You know, even though part of the nerves that goes to the heart also gets to the stomach, that's why it can easily be mixed, right? We have the vagal nerve, one of the nerves that supplies things in the trunk, within the trunk. But those symptoms normally for ulcer, yes, it may cause pain there. You know, the stomach is lying in between the chest, in front of the chest and the back of the chest. You also feel pains in the back. But heart problem rarely gives you pain at the back. It will not, and then ulcer will rarely radiate pain to your shoulder, right? It will rarely radiate pain to your shoulder. Yes, and the pain of heart pains for the heart are they normally feel heavy pains. You feel like there is a heavy stone. You know, commonly that's how people describe it. So it can help you to differentiate one pain to the other. And then of course, one simple thing with ulcer pain, unlike in heart case, because heart is involved in pumping blood. If there is a heart problems from the heart, it can make you feel like your life, there's an impending doom. But in the case of ulcer, you will feel the pain, but you will not really necessarily feel you are going. Of course, they say it is so severe that maybe you are throwing, vomiting blood and the rest. So I think the rest, when you come, the doctors will check to and help you with it.
So it's always good to get tested and all. Now, I've seen people talk about heart attack, cardiac arrest, and sometimes stroke. I seem to understand stroke a little bit, but can you like explain the difference between heart attack, cardiac arrest, and then stroke?
Thank you. Some brilliant questions here. Yes, heart attack. Right. Heart attack is what we call MI. You say myocardial infection. Infarction.
Without the one there.
So it's myocardial. Yes, that is myocardial. I thank God I've made you understood what myocardium means. Right? Myo is the muscles of the heart. So myocardial infarction. Infarction means a death of that tissue due to lack of blood supply to it. So that is what heart attack is. You understand? But that is what we have from heart attack. You understand? And then a sudden myocardial infarction, you know, that is significant to make that place to malfunction significantly. That is because you know the heart is a whole bulb. It has 4 chambers. So if one part is suddenly denied blood, you know, it will not function. So you know there will be signals or inability for it to work at that particular instance. So it can suddenly lead to a blackout at that point in time. So then somebody will say the person experienced a heart attack. Yes, and then we also then you are now talking of cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest, on the other part, is more of failure of the electrical part of the heart to do their own job. You know, they initiate the signals that make these muscles to contract. You know, so, and as I mentioned, we have what we call the SA node, that's the sinoatrial node. We have the AV node, atrioventricular node. We have the Purkinje fibers and the bundle of his. So if one part fails, the other one tries to compensate, you know, and then like that. So cardiac arrest is more of a shutdown of that electrical activity. So there's complete, you know, and then if you look at it as the analogy of the building where we have the control of the light in its transformer, right? And then now, in the case of cardiac arrest, it's like the NEPA themselves sees the light. So there's nothing the meter, sorry, the meter in the house, there's nothing, even the transformer, there's nothing can do, because there's complete loss of supply of electrical activity. So that is a cardiac arrest. And it also determines how the treatment, subsequently how you treat what is going on.
Yes. The stroke is the effect.
Yes, the stroke. And the case of stroke is more of, it's also, you know, in the heart, when the heart experiences stroke, that is what we call myocardial infarction. But stroke is now an infarction that affects the brain. Even though there are different strokes too, we have the ischemic stroke. Ischemia means also that there is lack of blood supply to a particular point of the brain. So that, and you know, the brain tissue is so fragile that it cannot do without blood supply. A little, you know, while the heart may endure and there are supplementary channels to supply it, even though the brain has it, but the tissues are so fragile that even just 1-2 minutes of lack of blood supply.
Okay, so doctor, what's the relationship between genetics now and heart disease?
Yes, I always want to say, you know, there's what we call genotype and then what we call phenotype.
Yes, I know.
Genetics related to genotype.
Okay.
Phenotypes related to the phenoms, the external influence.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is, so if you give birth to your child in Nigeria while he's still 1 year old and you take him to US and Canada, you behave like Americans.
Okay.
You understand? So that is, so no matter the genetics, yes, no matter the genetics, right? If not this trying to discredit, but if you have, let's say, a criminal, a renowned stubborn armed robber, give birth to a child, you know, and you take this child, you know, the person is in prison, you brought up this child maybe in a monastery or in a seminary, you end up becoming a reverend father. You know, so that is so why am I saying this? Because a lot of people want to say, hey, it is my genotype, it is my genetics.
Okay,
it goes beyond that.
Okay,
yes, but it's a good one. What are the roles of our genetics here? Our genes make us more predisposed to having hypertension.
Okay, if our parents have it.
Yes, you know, if you are, so what we need genetics is what risks our parents can have than we can have. Our genes can make us to be more predisposed to becoming obese.
Oh yeah.
You know, our genes can also carry what we call chromosomal disturbances, aberrations that can make someone to inherit a familial heart disease. You know, and then there are other disease we call connective tissue diseases. They are also inherited, you know, Ehlers-Danlos, Marfan's. I don't want to bring big grammar here. Yes, you know. So there are those are conditions that can make people to have. There are some people that are predisposed to having, you know, all these sudden heart-related deaths, cardiac deaths. You understand? Because they have a family linkage to it. But why am I saying I'm more concerned with your phenotype? Because a lot of times you can modify these risk factors. They are more like the genetics are risk factors that we cannot modify.
Yes.
Right?
They are
yes,
like
but
constants.
Yes, but they are there. But a lot of them you can also modify the effects that they can exert on your body through your physical activities. If I want to use myself as an example, my mom has hypertension. You know, she's controlling it well with her medication. But I'll be clocking 40 this August, and then already, right from when I joined the correctional service then as an officer to, when we went for our screening, my blood pressure was not good enough. It was 134 over, 90, which shows that I was already on the what we call at risk point, pre-hypertension stage, so I had to start consciously manage what I eat to the point that I came and I told my wife we don't eat salt because salt is one of the factors too that makes hypertension worse, right? And then eating too much of rice, and then sedentary lifestyles, or lack of sleep, all those things. I have to kind of manage my schedule.
That lack of sleep.
Yeah, so that I will modify those risk factors. And as I can tell you, well, if you have a BP machine, you can come and check my BP, which I do almost every time, and it is good. And I've not started making use of medications. Of course, I have people 25, 26 that I know that are already taking anti-blood pressure medications, anti-BP drugs, So that is why while genetics are there, and you can't do anything about it, you have to only appreciate our maker for giving you those people as your parents. At least they brought you to the world to even start in the beginning, and they did not eliminate you when you were young. So we shouldn't blame genetics. You can actually work on it. If you are obese or you have a familial, but there are even more medical support. There are surgeries that help to reduce fats, and then there are also medications that people use to help to control the fat cells in our body. So you can see even the obesity, familial obesity, you can have a way of managing it. There are a lot of famous celebrities that we all know, musicians that have look unique, and then all those risk factors that I mentioned, they predispose one to having a risk of dying early. If you notice people that have those risk factors, they actually tend to die early from cardiac events, heart events, so because the heart has a particular size. Imagine now the heart, maybe the size of my heart is not supposed to be the same size of the heart that Yokozuna that will work for Yokozuna's body. But there's a maximum size the heart can be. And then when the heart now is not able to carry that load on its own, what it means. So those are some of those risk factors that genetics can predispose us to it, but we can work to minimize the effect as much as possible.
Okay, so this means diet has it plays a major role.
A very major role.
To heart attack.
Yes, a very major role. And diet is not all about what you eat, also the quantity you eat and when you eat it. Yes, so it's a very good one. You have to know that when you are talking of diet, you have to know it's not just about what you eat. I'm not a dietitian, but we know that it has to do with what you eat, when you eat it, and the quantity you eat. You can imagine someone, no matter how good the food you eat, our body has a natural clock, which controls what we call the circadian rhythm, right? And then cardian. You see, like a circle, and then cardian, heart, circadian rhythm. So that means ultimately it has a lot to do with heart. So there are hormones that our body releases. During the day, we have what we call the cortisols. They are the stress hormone. But the actual function there is to boost the body to release more sugar, energy from the stores, so that we can be productive. Then when you now eat, those hormones are also released, and that is why you see when you eat, you sometimes, because of the high sugar, you now feel you want to sleep, right? So postprandial tide, alkaline tide, and then at the same time you also so now in the night you have the melatonin, right? The melatonin. So some people even buy the melatonin itself as sleeping support. The melatonin analogs that they sell, most time prescribed. All these night nurse, all this melatonin that people can. It's normally a prescription medication, right? So it is at the night we expect the melatonin to be at work. So if imagine now you now come at night, you now decide to eat when the melatonin is supposed to be at work. You release cortisol. Then you will not have excess sugar. So there's no time. Yes, there's no time when your body is supposed to rest. Before you are increasing your risk of developing diabetes. You are increasing your risk of becoming obese. All those things come into play, and then you are increasing your risk of developing hypertension. Yes, because the cortisol is associated with stress, so it will even trigger your sympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous part of our nervous system that controls activities or emergencies, unlike the parasympathetic, which controls calmness, relaxation.
I think I did that in biology. I think that's where it starts.
But at least you still remember.
No, I don't think I just remembered it.
Yes, sympathetic and parasympathetic.
Yeah, but I don't even know what they mean.
No, when you say sympathetic, it's a situation you sympathize with that person. So look at it like that. Then para, para is like medic and paramedic.
Yes.
Military and paramilitary. You expect a softer approach from a paramilitary than the military. So that's how it is also with the parasympathetic and sympathetic.
Okay, I've heard of this thing people say a healthy outside and then unhealthy inside. It looks like somebody can be okay.
Yes.
Very okay, or look fit and still have heart attack. How possible is that? How true is that?
Very, very, very possible.
What's responsible?
Why do I say very, very possible? When we mention the heart, as I've said, there are many factors that affect the heart. Number one, we have the flesh, the muscle. Number two, we have the blood vessels. Number three, we have the electrical part, isn't it?
Yes.
Anything that affects your blood vessels eventually affects your heart. And most of these things that affect blood vessels are not written on our faces until when they cause the damage. Also, anything that affects your flesh affects the heart. Also, anything that affects those electrical components, but the commonest one starts from the blood vessels, because the blood vessel actually carries what we eat. When it gets to the stomach, it moves. For example, I'm coming on to other ones. So, what do you eat? When you eat things that make your blood vessels, the blood vessels are like hose pipes, and normally when we are aging too, it will age. The normal wear and tear can make the hose pipe to become less flexible. So that is why normally there are heart conditions that will naturally come with age. That is number one. And then number two, there are other conditions. The commonest ones are what reduces the diameter, the internal diameter of the blood vessels. The blood vessel is a pipe, like a hose pipe. It has an internal wall and it's a diameter. That internal wall can start reducing because there are accumulation of debts. What are these dirty things? We call them plaques. And then that is what we refer to atherosclerosis, long grammar again. But all you should know is that there are debts accumulating in the wall, and when they are accumulating, they will narrow the diameter of that blood vessels. So that means the blood flowing there, we find it difficult to move.
And to increase the pressure.
Yes, naturally. If you carry a hose pipe, you want to wash car, you will squeeze the mouth so that the pressure will be more. So also, and when this pressure increases, that is what we call hypertension. Yes, that is what we refer to as hypertension, because hypertension means high blood pressure in the vessels. That is it. So by the time those things start gathering, and those things you will not know. They happen in an insidious manner, gradual manner. They build up. It's a built up plaque, just like your teeth can have tatas and the rest. So what are those things that can cause? People that are eating too much of sugary foods, because sugar is actually converted to fat to be stored in our body. People that are, so all these are soft drinks are risk factors. People that take alcohol makes it difficult. Our metabolism is altered. The way it breaks down sugar is no longer normal. It now makes more fats produced. When you smoke, people that smoke,
I was heading to that.
Yes, smoking. People that have smoke a lot, these blood vessels, they are supposed to be elastic. There are tissues, connective tissues, call it tissues that make up the vessels itself, the wall of the vessels. There are some that are called elastin. This elastin, they are supposed to make it more elastic, isn't it? But these elastin now are altered. They become fibrous. They lose their flexibility because of smoking, and then sedentary lifestyle.
Lack of exercise.
Yes, the heart is not trained, to cope. The heart has been made to be sedentary, weak. So those are things you will think you don't know, but they are there. And for example, now, how do you know you have cholesterol if you don't test? And a lot of times, as I told you, these factors is not because you are chubby or you are slim. You test a lot of people that are on the chubby side, and they don't have cholesterol. you know. However, maybe because their fat cells are active and then they are not eating those dirty fats that are releasing excess one in the
Oh,
bloodstream,
okay, but it can
right?
get you fat. It can get
Yes,
you obese.
yes. So
Okay.
and then there are those that actually, and then so for example, you won't see those ones. And when you are having hypertension, that is why we do all those echo, the echo that cardiologists do specifically,
Yes, yes.
to look at this thing. And you won't know all these things without doing a checkup.
Mm.
And then sometimes, you will say there's a healthy outside, and that is why you see people have this heart attack. And then this particular atherosclerosis, the plaque that is
Yeah,
gathering, it can
yeah.
actually dislodge when the pressure is, it has already caused a high pressure coming to it. The high pressure will continue at a point in time. It will overcome part of this sclerosis,
Yeah.
And then it will move that sclerotic plaque into the blood vessel. So if it removes it from there, it will be moving freely at that point. But there are tinier blood vessels in other parts of our body.
Yeah.
So when it gets there, it will block them.
Oh.
And so that plaque that is moving is what we call an emboli. So you can have a moving embolus, right?
Okay.
From the heart, it can move to the vessels of the kidneys, and it will cause progressive kidney damage. Those emboli can be so small, as it is dislodging those plaque that has gathered. Small particles, they can move, they will block these fine vessels in your kidneys. They can go to the brain, cause brain ischemia. They can go to the eye. Somebody the first sign of somebody's heart problem can be sudden blindness in the eyes, because this emboli can go and block the eyes. There's a condition, amaurosis frugas. It affects the eye. It will go and block the vessel in the eye, and then you see somebody sudden blindness. You now go and check. It can be all this, coronary related disease. Coronary means the blood of the vessels of the heart.
Yeah.
Coronary vascular diseases. They can cause all these kind of things. So that is how much. So those things are actually silent. They don't build overnight. So one may not know, and the only way you can know is by checkup. And then not ignoring any symptom your body tells you. That is why we have the health institutions.
Yeah. So we should take advantage.
We should take advantage of them.
How often should we check our heart or have our heart checked? How often?
Well,
see people, they will say, okay, once a year.
No,
body
relatively, yes. Yes, it's a relative question. Why am I saying relative? Number one, age, genetics, and existing medical conditions.
Okay, but for people over 40.
Yes, but good for like anybody over 40 years supposed to start his annual checkup. In fact, now we are moving closer, maybe because of how we are evolving as humans, because
what's responsible for that? Because I wanted to ask, normal thing we're saying 40, yes. They're not saying 35.
Yes. Well, I would want to relate it to evolution, because it is an ongoing field of study. And then evolution, and then other exogenous, external things we take in. There are a lot of things now that we are consuming now that have a lot to do with processed items, preservatives.
Maybe our fathers.
Yes. So those things actually introduce or increase particular hormones in our body, which now makes us approach our aging faster. Yes. So those are part of it. That is just it. Yes.
Okay. I noticed I noticed that men are more predisposed to have heart attack. That's the rumor out there. And then statistics seem to support it. Data seem to support it. So is it physiological, or it is stress based? I mean, why men have more heart attack than women?
It is. We all actually have equal heart attack, risk of heart problems. When we expose ourselves to those risk factors. Smoking, alcoholism, and men tend to have more privilege to practice social habits.
So a lot more men.
Yes.
Compared to women.
Yes, that is just
the consumption of alcohol too.
Yes.
Take more.
And then, however, everything with our skin. I don't know whether it's part of racism, but the dark-skinned person, maybe because of our melanin in our cells, they said we have higher risk of developing heart problem. But actually, when you study medicine, most of it is you hear the dark man has more risk, of course, except some cancers.
Okay,
tend
because
to
that one favors the black.
yes, some cancers maybe we are less at risk to them, but a lot of other things, the black man, diabetes, this one, they said our genetics makes us more predisposed to having them. So yes, the Africans and Asians, actually Africans and Asians tend to have higher risk of heart diseases than the Europeans, the Caucasians, or the Americans. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. So it's race too.
So as you rightly asked that question,
what about
somebody
gender?
with a family history of heart disease should be checking regularly. There are certain conditions that maybe a child experienced while the baby was small. There are some infections like sore throat infections
that will affect the heart.
Yes, that can predispose to the heart. All these streptococcal infections, they can also affect the heart. So, and then they can cause valvular issues. In such cases, you have to monitor the person closely. Be doing workup for conditions that are related to the heart. So and then people with kidney issues, you monitor the heart to so they check it, so it will be more frequent than usual. But for an average stable person approaching 40, right, if you do your checkup, let's say twice a year is good. Yes, because most parameters, twice a year checkup is actually more adequate. Not all of them. There are maybe for a woman, like for example pap smear, she may not have to do it every time if there's nothing there. So also with men, the prostate test, yes, if you don't have, if the value is not high, but once you do a checkup, the first one, your doctor will review with you, and then you will now plan the frequency. Yes, but imagine somebody who is hypertensive already and is on medication. It is advisable you check it maybe every 2 days, every week.
What?
Yes, in fact, we always advocate you have your personal blood pressure monitoring device, so that you will be always, you will know your condition. If there is any issue, you will notify your doctors immediately, because you are already at a higher risk of developing problems with your heart. Yes, so that is what that is how checkup. There's no fixed rule about checkup in quote. It all depends on your current health status. Yes.
Now you said something about blood pressure. Is it possible for somebody to have heart attack even when their blood pressure is normal or low?
Yes, it is there is never a situation, there's never a never in medical practice. But when, just as we said that a heart attack is sudden cessation of blood supply to one part of the body, the heart, isn't it, right? So this we can have other conditions. For example, now there was a moving embolus clot from one part of the body. It can lead to a heart attack. For example, somebody who has a lower limb injury, and they are not known to be hypertensive, but they are now immobilized. They are in one particular place. Those people, if you notice, we always give them antiplatelets. So even your body, the platelets will not work properly. Which are normal components of blood. Can become a bit less fluid. So they will now coalesce to form clots, and those ones alone can go to the heart and can suddenly cause a heart event.
It just looks like the heart, anything can just cause it to just pack up, but it's been working, like it's been working. And it's fascinating though that you have an organ that doesn't stop, never stops.
Yes. Until when they say you are meant to go and visit your maker.
So you've established this fact that it's possible for somebody to be athletic and still have heart issues.
Yes.
And I think we've seen it with someone, a footballer, Ericsson, and we've seen it with Kanu Nwankwo. Thank God for him. He took care of himself.
Yes. So you see, like the Kanu's case was a valve, for example, right? They said so, and the valves are those leaflets that prevents when the blood, the heart has 4 chambers. That's 2 upper chambers that we label them as the atrium, and then the lower chambers that we label them as ventricles. The right part actually receives blood from the lungs. The left part now sends it back to circulation, right? So if something affects the right part, you will see that the person will be having respiratory symptoms more, right?
Okay.
And then something's affecting the left part, you will see that all the organs that are supplied will be having
Issues,
challenges,
because
you
it
know.
will not be able to
Yes,
supply
including
them.
the kidneys, you know, the brain and the rest, you know. So just as you mentioned that in, you know, when the valves too are not closing enough, you know, the blood that was supposed to gather in the lower part so that it will pump it out with enough pressure and pump it enough to go into circulation, the blood will not be able to gather because the valves are not closing well. In both left and right, you know, they are separated by like a gate. Those are the valves. They will be regurgitating, sending back blood, right? So when they are sending back blood, it will now force, it will now, you know, force the lower chambers now will not be getting enough blood to pump. So they will, the reflex reaction will be that they want to squeeze even more. And the more they are squeezing, just like the more you are going to gym, you now develop more muscles. So it will make the heart to become, the muscles to become bigger. And that is what they, you know, we call dilated cardiomyopathy, because the heart has overworked.
Yes.
And when it becomes over big now, it will even need even more blood for it to feel, until when it feels before it can push out that stroke. It will now, through a stroke, we call it stroke, but that volume will now be reduced. You know, so you can see how it's just normal physiology, right? So you know, that is why if you ignore early signs, you know, it becomes worse. You know, as simple signs as some people will say, I'm feeling my heart beat, palpitation, yes, all those things, you know, there are signs that, okay, maybe your valves are not working or the electrical activities are not working well.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think we've learned a lot.
Yes.
So is there anything like artificial heart?
Well, there are
side of the world,
no, I know there is no artificial heart yet, but we have devices that support the heart.
Okay.
And it has gone advanced, and glory be to God, we even have heart operating centers all over Nigeria.
Yes.
At least in Abuja and Lagos we have. I don't want to advertise anybody's business,
no.
but we have good hospitals that do that. And of course, now the world is global, a village. We import those devices. We have them. We call them pacemakers.
Yes.
You know, or heart implant, or now better word is cardiac implants. You know, because some of them even go as far as they will replace that electrical control. That is the control center of the heart. It's like the brain box, right, of the heart. Now they can replace it, you know, and even if it's now you have a heart attack, they can easily deliver a shock, or you have not heart attack but cardiac arrest, because the electrical activity results mostly in cardiac arrest, the failure. You know, they can release a shock to, you know, because as I told you, if you have electrical, so going back to treatment, when you have a heart attack, you understand, heart failure, most of the time we use drugs to manage them, and then we can also have surgery. You know, like if you have a blocked vessels,
so
you know, yes, you can bypass it, you know, or you can put a rubber, a stent, we call it a stent, a tiny rubber, like a hose. You can put it there to open the vessel, to allow blood to be moving, flowing there. And then, but if it is the electrical activity, you need to put what we call those pacemaker implants. They are automated devices that keep releasing impulse so that the heart can actually contract. So, but now they are even advanced that they deliver shock. Globally, we heard of the Danish footballer, Eriksen. He even had a recent event.
Yes,
you know, and the device
at him, like I felt like you shouldn't be
shouldn't take risk. You know,
so, but then I heard that
the device resuscitated him automatically.
Yes, and then I heard that people can be addicted to hard work.
Yes,
that's another side of addiction that I got to know not long ago.
Yes, but you know, that's why we have family. Sometimes we will have to force you to checkmate your activities because of the risk of you getting you know, getting overindulged in what you shouldn't be indulged. Yes, so that is part of that's the role of family and your loved ones. That's their role. Yes.
Okay, I've seen people say 40. 40 seems to be the magic number, but from professionally now, at what age should one begin to take heart-related issues seriously? Like the test, palpitation. There are some things that will happen to you. You just feel like, no, I'm okay, I can stomach it.
Yes.
But at what age should one begin to take it seriously when you feel that?
As an individual, once you are an adult, you know, from anybody from, in fact, adulthood now becoming lower from 16 years, when you can actually walk in to a health facility and say, please kindly help me check my blood pressure. When I was to join the correctional service, I wasn't 40.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
obviously.
but I know that I have to take action on my heart. And footballers that have collapsed, a lot of them are not up to 40.
No, not at all.
Yes, so
we've had Eriksen,
yes,
collapse. Eric should even be in his 30s.
Thank
now.
you. And every footballer that has been signed by every club, they do cardiac heart competence tests.
Yeah.
Heart endurance tests.
They've had instances.
Yes. So you have to know that this heart is capable of doing what you are doing. You know, so heart issues don't just start when you are 40. You know, they used to tell us life begins at 40. I hope life it give me sweetness when I turn 40 this year. Yes, sir.
So, but what about workouts? Like your mild workouts?
Yes.
Compared to intensive ones. So
yes.
Which one works better for the heart?
You know, there are exercises that have even been termed cardio.
Okay.
Right? Exercise that will gradually pace your heart. When you know, people that do exercise know what pacing means, like gradually increasing the endurance that your heart, the cope, how much your heart can take.
What your heart
if I've not trekked for a while, if I just trek maybe 500 kilometers, I'll start, you know, I'll be breathing difficult. But if the next day I move, continue, before you know, another time you are covering 2 kilometers, before you know 10 kilometers, before you know 20 kilometers, right? So exercise is more about how much you can cope, and you should not be overnight you want to become a macho man. You know, and the proper exercise does not include abusing steroids.
No.
Yes, because sometimes we overdo them too, you know, then you now end up having steroids or having endangering your heart.
For people who wants to gain muscle, they abuse steroids, they take steroids, they take certain things, there's this one they call, is it white, certain things like that. There's one trending now, I'll remember the name, and people just take it now and they want to get muscle, they want to be big. But now that kind of
protein shakes and the rest.
Yes. That kind of muscle shake, does it affect the heart too?
Well,
like the way obesity.
Of course, you know that the way you are building the muscles physically outside, so also is the heart. You know, and I've told you the dangers associated with an enlarged heart too.
I've right? seen it like diagnosis.
Yes, so because the heart too is a muscle, it will respond to all these things you are doing too.
Wow.
So moderation matters. So if you overdo it, you end up with heart issues. You know, we can see a lot of wrestlers that we know. You know, they tend to retire early, and some of them have cardiac issues that they are managing.
I've seen Big Show.
Yes, not even others that are apparently fine. We have Biggie and the rest, other wrestlers that we know. They all have to
and even bodybuilders too.
Yes,
there's this thing I saw Coleman the other time. His leg cannot carry his frame. And then I'm looking at this Mr. Olympians, comparing them with when Arnold Schwarzenegger was Mr. Olympian. Look at Arnold at 70-something, he can still carry himself.
Yes.
And sometimes, if not sometimes, let's not whitewash it. I believe it has something to do with what these current ones are taking.
Yes.
And that's why no matter what, it is wrong to take from the steroids to the protein shakes to, why do I keep forgetting this last one? There's one.
No, I'm even happy you mentioned them. Yeah. Like that white that I mentioned, obviously is the code name for a banned substance. It is not meant to be a recreational drug in any way. And even in the general world of wrestling itself, drugs are banned. We know of our popular wrestler, Warrior, the Ultimate Warrior. He was banned because traces of cocaine was seen in his system, right? So also sports people are actually banned from drugs because it will affect their heart. Of blessed memory, our great Maradona. We all know his story with drugs.
And that was because they don't want, I think at some point, Rio Ferdinand.
Yes, I don't know much about Rio Ferdinand case, you know, Paul Pogba, you know, Mudryk, you know. So and oftentimes these guides are put in place to protect the athletes. It's not even all about them cheating, but to protect. It's not about performance, but protecting their health itself. Because someone on drug has a higher risk of you know, developing a sudden cardiac event on the field. So that is it. So it is not in any way advisable. Yes, anything that your food, your normal food cannot be, your diet cannot be controlled to give you, drugs are not expected to give you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we've talked about food that are
Yes.
good for that are not good for the heart. We
Yes.
talked about salt, certain things. Are there food that are also good for the heart? So people can
Yes,
eat them.
cardiac friendly
See the way you
foods.
smile.
No, I love that because it is, medicine, the bedrock of medicine should be preventive.
Yes.
Nobody wants to
It's
come and be
cheaper,
treating
actually.
someone that is dying.
It's less expensive.
Yes, and as you know now, we don't, so far all the heart transplants have not been successful yet. The last attempt was a pig's heart, which was transplanted to a person. It lasted for some few days, I can't remember. I think it's 45 days, I can't remember specifically, but eventually it failed. But research keeps going on, in that aspect. So we have a duty to protect this heart. You say, what are these heart friendly foods? Plant oils are generally safe. And we always say that eat what you have. In your natural environment. We don't have to go and start looking for apple in some far places. When you eat, let's start from the common simpler fruits that you know. Oranges. If you take oranges, they are rich in vitamin C, antioxidants. Antioxidants burns out free radicals and other things in your body that can produce toxins that can affect the heart. Right? We go to vitamin A. Right? Vitamin A takes care of what we call membrane. Membranes are the inner linings of blood vessels. So when you are people that smoke now, that smoking corrodes the internal walls of these vessels, right? Where the elastins are placed. When vitamin A rich foods, carrots, zogale, moringa. In Hausa we call it zogale, right?
So zogale is moringa.
Yes, zogale is moringa in the north. For those northern Hausa speaking people, they use it for soup. They use it for what we call dambu. It's like a jollof with the leaves and this thing. And then all vegetables, they are rich in vitamin A. A lot of them are rich. If you come to talk of good oils, we talk of, you go and everybody now, if you have heart problem, they want to give you omega-3. Omega-3 are fish oil, isn't it? They write it even boldly to you, fish oil. Why don't you buy this same fish and do your pepper soup? Because if you roast it, the oil will dry out with the flames that is roasting it. True. If you fry it, the oil will go out and join your cooking oil and go. So why don't you now why don't you do a pepper soup and take the fish? You get the same benefit that instead of swallowing a pill every day, you are getting a rich supply of omega-3 from what you have cooked. You are using your money of buying drug, you have bought healthy foods. You talk of our favorite avocado and pear. Yes, they look fatty, but they are good oils. They are also good in this omega-3, DHA, and the other contents that we need, to also help in taking care of the bad fat. Of course, there are what we call good and bad fats, isn't it? And so that is how, those are just few among them, as I mentioned. And then avoiding the sweet ones that introduce the bad fats into your system. And even your cooking oil, thank God for the control, regulatory bodies now. Yes, you will see that we have good oils, oils that naturally remain liquid. They are normally heart-friendly oils in room temperature, but those that become fat, they are dangerous, right? And that also comes to how we use oil, the knowledge of using oil, because in chemistry there's what we call unsaturated, which is what keeps the oil liquid in room, and then we have saturated, which is what turns the oil to become fats. That's true. You understand, right? And that is those fats are what eventually forms soap, saponification, and the rest. So when you now pick the regular cooking oil, when we buy, I bought oil yesterday, for example. If I go to buy this oil, they say cholesterol free oil. I actually bought a soya bean oil. I like soya bean oils, for example, and which are very good because they are rich in this unsaturated, only unsaturated. So that means it requires a lot of heat, hydrogenation for it to become saturated, for it to become cloggy or fatty. So if I go to buy oil in the market and I already see that it has settled, already is a danger sign.
Oh, it's a red
that
flag.
yes, that it has a lot of saturated fats in it.
Mm.
And so also when you come to your home, you use oil for cooking, for frying. The oil that you bought, this oil will be as fluid as this water in the natural container.
Yeah.
But once you fetch it and fly and you pack it in a rubber and keep,
It will
the next day you come and see fats settling down. So that means it is becoming saturated.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Right? So what does that mean? When you are using oil to cook, you are not meant to fry and fry and fry them or refry oils.
So people that
fry, so now maybe to technology and to God, now we have air fryers that reduce the oil, so you don't have to be recycling oil, right? You have and then the way you cook the food, you know, and in fact there are some oils, like for example we buy olive oil. Naturally it's meant to be put raw on food, but you know in Africa if you don't fry them, the fish no go sweet. So sometimes you have to fry it. You understand? I'm not saying you shouldn't eat, you understand? In Africa I say something must kill man, but don't go and kill yourself. If you kill yourself now you go suffer, die.
It's true.
You know, so but we can live healthily. You know, so that's the essence. So I always love when people ask this question, because your food is your number one drug. You know, your number one medicine. If you carry groundnut, not be groundnut with a squeeze to bring out good groundnut oil. But if you eat this groundnut, are you not eating a healthy oil?
Yes, you are nourishing your body.
You are nourishing your body. If you eat almond, doesn't almond have nuts?
Yes.
If you cook with soya bean, can't bring oil from it.
You can't.
Even the moringa seeds, they do moringa oil, isn't it? So all those things are healthy oils. You understand? So those already answers the fact that these are healthy foods. And then there are even the word vegetable oil. All those, of course, the soya bean is a vegetable.
Yeah, sure.
The cotton seed is also a vegetable.
Yes.
The flax seed is also a vegetable. The chia seeds, the sesame seeds, they are all vegetables. You know, so so sometimes when you just interpret the word deeper, you see everything. And you learn from it. Yes.
All right, so doctor, I want to thank you once again for picking today to come.
Thank you.
Yes, if somebody wants to be a medical doctor, I know I've asked this question, but what should the person do? What advice do you have for people that want to become medical doctors?
Yes, thank you.
You didn't see that.
I didn't see that coming because you boxed me to a corner. You know, at a point in time, I would think I was not the right person to advise.
Why?
On this, because when I was finishing secondary school, medicine was far from what I wanted to do.
Oh, you just had a high score exam and your parents decided to say
no. Well, medicine. My father wanted me to do petroleum engineering.
Oh,
I wanted to be a software engineer. Oh. And then my mom wanted me to do medicine. But because my father will not let me have my way, so the ability is to turn to my mom's own to you understand? So and then the intellect was there. I could pass I could pass my courses. But I had no passion for medicine until when people that came with us have graduated after we have spent 4 years in the university, and then we are still there. And I realized I don't have any option other than to graduate as a doctor. And then I realized that, look, why am I still here? Is because I'm meant to understand things more than others outside.
That's true.
I have to understand life first. So no matter what somebody does for you, you should look at him. You should look at the life, the gift of life in that person. So you have to understand human beings, appreciate life. That is number one. And then be ready to sacrifice. Because medicine is not it's not a clean job. Everybody you meet is a patient. And everybody exposes you to a risk. So you have to put it in your mind that you want to be a sacrifice. You have sacrificed yourself. It's a selfless service. So if you are selfish, you love yourself, you can't come and practice as a doctor. You'll be a nuisance to the community. So you have to have the passion to help people in terms of their well-being. You know, so that is it. And then of course, because medicine is science, you have to be interested in science. You know, and that is why, because at a point in time, you see, now we were busy bringing chemistry. I'm even shocked that I know chemistry more than when I was in secondary school. I was studying it to pass. But when I came to practice medicine, I realized that I need this my mathematics, I need this my physics, I need this my chemistry, I need, because you won't know about radiations if you don't know your physics.
That's true.
You know, I need to know about biology. If I don't know biology, I won't understand biochemistry. I won't understand that, okay, I'm giving you, why am I giving you augmentin today? Why am I giving you amoxicillin clavulanic combination? It's because I know that this antibiotic kills this line of bacteria.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
true.
Why am I giving you antibiotic, and why am I not giving you antibiotic in some instance? Because I know that this sickness that we are presenting with is not caused by a living organism.
Yeah.
So I will not need to give you antibiotic. So so everything that you are being taught, if you want to be a doctor, you have to be serious. You have to be a serious person.
That's
yes,
true.
because even though I didn't have the passion initially, but I was serious with my studies.
Yeah.
So that is why I was able to now gain that, adopt the field I find myself. And glory be to God. Thank God for leading me to paths that I should be. Even though I was stubbornly resisting it. Today I was discussing how I would have married somebody from my own town. When people tell us, marry from your side, then if I'd married there, I may have made a wrong choice too.
Possibly.
Because it is not the person I was meant to marry. And eventually I married somebody from a different part of the country entirely. Me, I'm from the north, so my wife is from the south. So you have to be, sometimes, of course, with everything, let God guide us. But and then the parents too have a role
to play
in a child. Every child needs mentoring.
That's
true. A lot of children, just like is it Picasso or Michelangelo that said it? He said every child is an artist.
Okay, both of them are artists.
Yes, it is only what. Yes, I have not. Yes, but however, it is what the parents train the child for that eventually the child becomes. But every child is an artist, and even healing, treating people is also an art. So don't look at just the word science there. It's also an art. You must be able to match all the knowledge you have gathered at any instance. Because if I'm sitting in my consulting room, I don't know what who the next patient will be, and what his complaint will be. And whether you are a cardiologist or this one, people know you as a doctor first.
That's true.
When they come, you have to be able to at least have the basic knowledge on how either to help them at that point or refer them appropriately to who is more qualified to manage them. So parental guidance matters. Seriousness.
In fact, I've never seen a doctor that is not serious.
If you are serious, you'll be a murderer or a butcher. So we don't have, medicine is such a course that doesn't give you room to be careless. It's so sensitive. If in fact a veterinary doctor even have less, let me say, in our the general popular, people outside will understand better with a veterinary doctor that kills his dog than you kill a human being
compared to
So I think you really caught me off guard with that question. Yes, but that is just it. You have to be responsible. You can't be an irresponsible person and you want somebody to entrust his or her life or his loved one's life to your hands. It can't just work.
That's true. And it's on that note we are pulling the curtain to today's program. I want to appreciate you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Thank you for coming. Now we're going to be having a lot more of you.
I'll always be available by the grace of God.
So you can educate us. I feel like people, especially people that are over 40, they've learned a few things on how to take care of your heart. Please take care of your heart. Go for checkups. You just have to do that. Exercise. Watch the food you eat. Then avoid certain food. Take certain food. Overall, just take your heart health seriously. There's a question I was supposed to ask, but I didn't ask. I wanted to look at heartbreak. That's a bonus question now. And heart attack. Does it actually cause heart attack or is it exaggerated? Like when you serve someone breakfast and the person holds his heart like, oh, so does it work or is it the movies?
Well, it's actually you can explain it medically.
Okay.
That heartbreak is a period of sadness and it triggers stress. It's a psychological stress. And the psychological stress triggers the biological stress clock. The cortisol pathway. So the cortisol pathway on its own causes you to be obese, causes you to have diabetes, which is a risk factor for heart disease, causes you to have the hypertension. because it triggers the sympathetic pathway. Because your body is on stress, and as I said, I told you, the sympathetic pathway is a pathway for emergencies. You want to fight, you want to fight. It's a defense mechanism of the body. So of course it will put the heart at undue tension.
Yes, and it can lead to...
So somebody can actually develop hypertension from heartbreak, as easy as it sounds, but it is actually true. So
so it's very important before you send that note or that message to that lady or to that guy, especially beautiful ladies.
Yes.
So before you just say, I'm
even ugly ones have heartbreak. Heartbreak is very resistant to, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
That's true. So before you just say, I'm done with this relationship, just consider the heart of your love.
Exactly.
On that note, we are signing off. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you once again, sir. Thank you, sir.